month. And the airport, which got more rain, just barely near average. I'm a little disappointed to tell you, this time yesterday, computer models were suggesting higher totals. Now they have ratcheted back, so we're not giving up on rain chances, but this is for the next 7 days. If you're lucky, maybe an inch or two, but it could be one of those situations where despite the potential of showers and storms, most of the action happens to our northwest on Sunday or to our north on Monday, and we may not see much of anything on Saturday, so just be prepared for a little bit of a rain disappointment. Right now, 75 degrees, our high 88 for tomorrow. Patchy drizzle to start off your day will be possible along with clouds, plentiful moisture and humidity. We'll send temperatures up to 89 degrees. A stiff southerly wind, 10 to 15, going to continue to funnel in the humidity. It will be here. Well, we've got the moisture, we've got the instability. We need a trigger. The trigger right now is out west with a dry line. A slow-moving front's going to try to get close to us on Saturday. That might help. Tomorrow, though, could be a pretty big tornado outbreak, potentially. Portions of Oklahoma on into Kansas. Then on Saturday, no severe risk, but thunderstorms are possible. Here's a little caveat. Should we see storms develop, they might dump some heavy rain. Chances are very low, though, but we have been placed under a very low risk of flooding. Fast forward to Sunday and then Monday. To our northwest, a 15% chance of severe thunderstorms. To our north on Monday. What does this all mean for us? Well, at least short term, not much. Patchy drizzle to start off your day tomorrow and then sunshine to end it. Guess what? We do that same thing on Saturday. Ahead of the front, though, we could see some spotty showers, but we're still waiting for storms. Speaking of those storms, they look less intense and less likely. Here's one computer model suggesting a few showers possible Saturday into Sunday, and then Sunday night into Monday, which 24 hours ago looked like a lot of rain. Take a look. Out west, here's the rain, and it pushes through with little fanfare. That could really temper the amounts that we get. I'm going to keep in the possibility of strong storms possible, but that may be more likely to our north. Drought worsening. That is despite the widespread rain we had on Monday. And in the hill country especially, look at that expansion. Just to put this in perspective for you, this is the worst drought since 2014 for our area and since 2012 for some parts of the Lone Star State. Last week, just a sliver of exceptional drought. This week, it has expanded. Clearly, we need rain. All right. Up not as late as the rest of us since you're 2 hours different time zone. Charles, hello. Jesse, what's going on? I got the Skippy cam on Skippy, although he's decided he wants to move around a little bit so you can just see his paws down here. Hope you guys are doing well. So a few little subtle adjustments. We now have confirmation that it is indeed Friday, April 29th. I went ahead and added the auto date, and so even though in my mind it's still Thursday night, in the real world, it really is Friday, April 29th. And you can see the date and the time right there at the bottom of the screen. Meanwhile, Skippy is having a good day. Ewok, too. He was up here a little bit ago, but then he decided he was going to... Oh, hi, Ewok. You want to hop up? Want to hop up? We can put you on the Ewok cam. There you go. You guys see Ewok? There he is. He's a good boy. Yeah, we get both little boys on. So we got Skippy cam and Ewok cam, dueling cameras. Larry, what's going on? Chris says cold up there for April. Bill, good evening. Bob says, do you really want to know why I'm still awake? I do. Are you watching a movie? Are you waiting for the SBC outlooks? I saw the day 2 outlook just came out. Jesse Hernandez, hey, hey. David Delgado, what's going on? Thanks for checking in. So clearly, I've got my hands full between belly rubs for 2 boys, right? But I think we can also go ahead and give you your weather forecast. So without further ado, here we go. Hanson, how you doing? Hope you're doing great. So we'll see if we can maybe get both boys on one camera. Let me see if I can swing this around. We get at least, well, I think it's going to be either one or the other. I don't know if we can fit both in the same screen. So for now, we'll just make this the Ewok cam. And you may be able to catch a glimpse of Skipper in the bottom of my frame. So there you have it. Oh, maybe not. Ewok's like, see you later, bye. Hasta la vista. He's like, I'm done. He heard my husband's slam the door and So now he's like, okay, I'm going to go downstairs. So now we get the Skippy cam. Let me see if I can get him to settle down. I know, yes, he's a good boy. Okay, there we go. Bob says you went to bed almost 2 hours ago. Did you really? And yet I was... so nature calls, right? Yep, we got both boys sightings. So for those of you who are wondering, Bob has quite the agenda coming up because there is a potential for a significant tornado event to happen somewhere between central Oklahoma and southern Nebraska on Friday. So it could be interesting. Certainly worth at least keeping an eye on, if you will. All right, meantime, here in Central Texas, I will be honest with you, I'm kind of preparing myself and you as well to be somewhat disappointed. By that, I'm talking about the fact that computer models, which had been kind of getting me like in the mode of, ooh, maybe we could have another widespread rain event with multiple inches of rain. I was starting to jump on that bandwagon 24 hours ago. But since then, computer model runs have come in and they've said, well, maybe not quite as much rain as I originally thought. Maybe not quite as widespread storm coverage. So my new mantra, at least for now, is going to be daily rain chances. But we're going to cap them at 20 to at most 30% until there's more confidence. And right now, some of the indications I'm getting are there may be heavy rain close, but perhaps not quite over us. But we'll take anything, right? Also, the latest drought monitor, not good news. So let's go day by day. Yes, hi Ewok. Thank you so much for the kisses. We got both boys again. So I think that because we hit 88 degrees on Thursday, my thinking is that we're going to wake up to clouds. I mean, actually outside right now, it's already cloudy. There's quite a bit of a breeze too. Might see some patchy drizzle in the morning, which is the 10% rain chance for Friday. But if we break out into sunshine in the afternoon, which I think we will, temperatures are going to soar. We'll have a southerly wind. We've got the humidity, all of those little ingredients. You look good in that camera, by the way. So I think we're going to be within a few degrees of 90 pretty much for the next week, the way things are looking. As you can see, I do still have highlighted strong storms possible for Sunday and Monday. Although I'm not super bullish on our storm chances, we're going to be close enough to a higher risk to our northwest on Sunday and to our north on Monday that I just have this hunch we'll probably be close enough that there may be a strong storm or two along the way. Charles, what's going on? Thanks for checking in. So we're kind of going to dive in and look at all those details. Day one outlook is just out and there is still the enhanced zone. So we'll take a look at that as well. So enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms from central Oklahoma points to the north, and no, Austin is not included in the outlook for Friday. So this is why we need the rain so badly. Camp Mabry a ½ inch below for the month, and the airport, even though we saw that record rainfall on Monday, it's just not enough. We need to keep the rain going, and so unfortunately the drought monitor was pretty lackluster. Temperatures holding in the low 70s as we speak. I don't think we'll drop too much more through the overnight. Leanne, hello, hope you're doing great. Larry says burn ban is off in Hays. You know what? Burn bans are off in multiple counties. I just looked at Caldwell's county. I look at the Texas A&M burn ban map. Caldwell County was off, and Bastrop County was off. There are multiple counties now that have lifted their burn bans in response to the recent rain that we had. Here's a look at temperatures, pretty much in the 70s everywhere, except for Amarillo, which is 62 degrees. So wind, Larry, in Hays County, 10 to 15 sustained, but you're going to have gusts over 20, maybe 25 miles per hour, so still not a good day to burn. Fire danger for Hays County will be moderate during the day on Friday. Leanne says, doing great. That's wonderful to hear. It's been a while since I've seen your name on the chat, but I appreciate seeing you. So we've got the new day one outlook, the new day two outlook, which actually has an area of a slight risk, including Indianapolis, go figure. So temperatures across the entire United States, a little warmer now across the northern tier. If you recall, 24 hours ago, it was freezing in Bismarck and in the 30s in Minneapolis and Chicago. It's still in the 30s in Cleveland, but finally that's starting to give. And you'll also notice that there is a pretty good fetch of warm, moist air moving right through here, the Lone Star State. But that moisture extends all the way north through the Central Plains, and that will be the focus for severe thunderstorm risk as we head into your Friday. Larry says, oh, thanks. Yep, you're welcome, my pleasure. High temperature made it to 88 degrees at Camp Mabry, 86 out at the airport, both above average, but not records. Back in 2017, we hit 95 degrees. All right, so here's your allergy report. And unfortunately, mold, oak, and grass all in the high range. Pecan is moderate. And then we've got a slew of others. We've got mulberry, pine, walnut, and other trees. Ooh, and I think I forgot to put the other tree's number. Trust me, it was just in the low range. But yeah, a whole slew of allergens. So here is that fire danger forecast right there for you, Larry, from Texas A&M. Moderate fire danger for the majority of us. There will be high fire danger, though, for areas into Mason, Llano, and parts of Burnett County. It will be a breezy day, but it won't be windy enough for a red flag warning, at least not here. There could be a major fire episode, though, for parts of the east of the Rockies, into portions of Colorado, and also into far west Texas. Very, very high fire danger. For us, unfortunately, the drought monitor came out today, and I had hoped that at least the rain we saw would have been a bandage. Nope, not at all. Roughly from I-35 points to the east, unchanged. However, check this out. In the hill country, huge area now of exceptional drought. Just to put this in perspective, I went ahead and plotted for you. On the left side, that's this week's drought monitor. On the right side, that's last week's. And you can see that the area of exceptional drought, which was little bitty, has now expanded. And that is despite the fact that some areas did pick up a little bit of rain on Monday. So it just goes to show you we are not in a good situation. I did some checking, and for the hill country points south and west, this is the highest percentage of exceptional drought since 2014. And in some parts of the Lone Star State, this is the worst drought since 2012, but even worse was 2011. So, I mean, we've had worse, but we certainly could do better. Allergies need to go. I hear you on that one, Leanne. You probably hear the scratchiness in my throat every day. I'm like, oh, seriously, get rid of these allergies. All right, so good news, yes, this is over the next 7 days. At least there's rain in the forecast. Bad news, these numbers have gone down. 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago, 48 hours ago, the computer model on the left-hand side was being really generous with rainfall, and I was getting kind of excited. Well, now you can see I-35 points east, basically ½ inch or less, although Gillespie County, this 2.8, is somewhat encouraging. Also kind of similar, the European computer model has only ¼ inch of rain or so for places like LaGrange. However, it does give Austin about 1 inch of rain and points to the west. What's interesting, though, is these totals on the European computer model aren't even from the Saturday, Sunday rain chances. The heaviest of that is actually later on in the week next week. So multiple rain chances. We'll see how things go. Hola to Nancy. ¿Cómo está to you as well? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. All right, so here's a live look at our Chase Bank Tower. Temperature 88 degrees. Low this morning was, or high temperature earlier, 88 degrees. Low was 69, and the current temperature 71 with the cloud cover building in. All right, so hour by hour forecast is going to have a little bit of patchy drizzle first thing in the morning, kind of like we have seen lately. And then as we work our way through the day, increasing sunshine, decreasing cloud cover, high temperature right around 89 degrees. Oh, 1 o'clock's coming up. At 1 o'clock, these computer models or the maps are all going to be off by a day. So, sorry. I have it set to trigger over to the next day at 1 a.m. Dew points are muggy and warm. Easy to see where that dry line is. That's the difference between the dry, less humid air and the muggy air. Amarillo dew point of just 18 degrees. That's super dry. Widening out the view. Well, the dry line was the source of a few storms earlier, and currently there are some storms still hovering across portions of Nebraska and northern sections of Kansas as we wait for this slow-moving cold front to come through. By Saturday, now tomorrow the big epicenter for severe thunderstorms is going to be, up here. But by Saturday, the front, this one over here, is likely to start to sag its way into central Texas. It won't quite make it all the way here, but it should make it somewhere through North Texas, and I think it'll probably land just to our north. So with that front close by, it might be the instigator for a few storms. Then as we head towards Sunday, a dry line plus another disturbance might be enough to prompt a few storms as well, but no guarantees. Okay, so I'm going to have to shift this a little bit because of the fact that the latest day one outlook has indeed come out. So let me go ahead and plot this for you. Here is the latest and greatest Friday severe thunderstorm risk that just came out minutes ago from the Storm Prediction Center. I've taken away the general thunderstorm risk because I think the most important thing is where will the severe weather potential be. For the Dallas-Fort Worth area, included in a level 1 of 5 risk. Into southern Oklahoma, a level 2 risk, and from central to northern Oklahoma and all the way through Kansas and southern sections of Nebraska, a level 3 of 5 risk. That only tells part of the story. The rest of the story is the actual tornado threat, which is pretty impressive. All right, so let me take a look at this and I'll show you the specific threats in terms of tornadoes. So here is the latest threat from the Storm Prediction Center, and it's showing a 10% risk of possible tornadoes, including portions of Oklahoma, Kansas, and then on farther north into Nebraska. Also worth noting, see those little lines? We call these hatch marks, these little parallel lines. Those hatch marks mean, right here, EF2 or stronger tornadoes possible. So not only is it a 10% tornado risk, but it's a 10% risk of significant tornadoes. What could happen is rotating supercell thunderstorms that have not only large hail and tornado threat, but also damaging winds, and some of those tornadoes could be on the strong side, EF2 or greater. Let me show you some of the other risks for those of you who may have family or friends that are in the affected areas. Take a look at this, a 30% risk of damaging wind, and that includes areas of eastern Kansas and southeastern Nebraska south of Omaha. And not quite to Kansas City, but Kansas City and Omaha and Wichita and OKC are all within a 15% risk of damaging wind. Now let's take a look at the hail risk. Hail potential, and again, we're talking hatch marks. So in the areas with the hatches, which you can see over Wichita, Kansas and Oklahoma City, that is significant hail 2 inches or larger in diameter, which is egg size or greater. So there's going to be pretty good chance of seeing some nasty storms that could be quite damaging as well. And just to put your mind at ease, we are not included in any of this at all whatsoever. So all day long tomorrow, we will be hanging out with a little patchy drizzle in the morning, and after that, we'll see basically clouds give way to partial sunshine and warm temperatures. But yeah, definitely keep an eye up to our north, where our friends there will be dealing with potential of more significant weather. Okay, so next let's take a look at the storm threat for Saturday. So that is the day 2 outlook. And as you'll be able to see, the severe weather threat is going to extend from eastern sections of Missouri through Illinois all the way up to Chicago and eastward toward Indianapolis, also including areas of western Tennessee and western Kentucky. For us here in the Austin area, we're only in the, we might see a thunderstorm category. So that level 0 threat basically corresponds to non-severe storms are possible, but severe thunderstorms are not expected. What's interesting to note, though, is that the Weather Prediction Center did have our area, and I'll push to the slide that's the appropriate slide for it. The
Weather Prediction Center did have our area in a low risk of possible flooding for, this is going to be Saturday. Again, it's after 1 a.m., so this is why it's all off. So what gives? Even though we're not likely to have severe thunderstorms, there may be a few storms, and if they develop, they might actually have pretty good moisture to work with, so they could rain some pretty heavy rain. Let's see. Bob says significant EF2s, that hail at 3 inches plus. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I would not want to be out there in those storms. Kevin, how you doing? The boys are doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I got both of them up here with me. All right, so let's take a look at the overall consensus for, oh, and these are off by day. Again, it's because it's after midnight. So we're looking at, and this will be updated by the Storm Prediction Center sometime overnight. It has not yet been updated, so this is what I showed at 10 o'clock. But this is the Sunday severe weather risk, and this is the Monday severe weather risk. So for Sunday, areas just to our north and west, just north and west of Mason County, included in that 15% chance. And on Monday, areas just north of Bell County, included in that 15% severe weather chance. So typically, if a 15%, which is equivalent to a slight risk of severe thunderstorms or a level 2 out of 5, typically you'll see that extend a little bit farther to the south. So it would seem reasonable that late Sunday night, there might be areas in the hill country that are included in a 5% risk, which is the equivalent of a level 1 marginal risk. And then on Monday, it's reasonable that we might possibly see Austin included in a marginal risk as well. But both of those will be kind of on the low end of what could materialize. Let's go ahead and take an hour by hour look at Saturday, shall we? So in the morning, right around 70 degrees, there are going to be some spotty showers around. There's going to be a front that tries to at least approach, and I'll kind of show this to you. If you look closely, this is one computer model in particular. If you look closely, you'll see that winds here are out of the north of us, and that winds to our south are out of the south. So it's either an actual outflow boundary or maybe possibly the actual front itself. I'm kind of inclined to think it's probably the outflow boundary, but let's pretend it's the front. There might be a front that is basically just to our north on Saturday. So that's going to be one of the things that might possibly trigger some storms. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. But at this point, the potential for seeing anything big might actually linger just a little farther to our north end or closer to the actual front itself. But let's go ahead and take a look. 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, 88 degrees in Austin, a few spotty showers around. Aha, there you can see a couple of nasty storms developing. But yes, they are to our north, and this is heading into early Sunday. So it's possible that we kind of miss out on our Saturday rain chances as far as anything substantial. Not set in stone though, and this, even though the clock was moving, it wasn't updating. So now let's take a look at the GFS computer model. The previous computer model I showed you doesn't go out far enough for us to actually see the full extent of how Saturday may play out, but this one will. All right, so we're gonna start with Saturday in the afternoon, and you can see this is showing some showers over our area, but nothing necessarily super heavy. And this computer model is, if you see, showing winds to our north that are kind of out of the north and east, and to our south that are kind of out of the south and east. So again, whether it be the actual front or just an outflow boundary preceding the front, you can kind of imagine maybe somewhere in here, there may be a front, and that front probably stalls. And then as we head into Sunday, that same front's going to lift back north. So with that said, yes, there may be some rain, but unlike yesterday where we could see some big yellows and reds, none of this strong, nasty stuff looking like it's here. Okay, now let's take a look at Sunday night into Monday. For your reference, this is Monday midnight, so Sunday night. And roughly on Sunday, the warm front itself will be well up to the north. But there's likely to be a dry line, which is that line dividing the warm, humid air from the drier, less humid air. There's likely to be a dry line that sets up somewhere out in West Texas, and along that dry line is where we're most likely to see some storms fire up. So then the question is, these storms that fire up off to our west, they're going to start tracking to the east. Will they hold together long enough as they track to the east to make it into our area? All right, let's play through this loop and see. So there we go, and meh, not a lot. So this is vastly different than what the same computer models were showing 24 hours ago and even 48 hours ago, where they were blossoming potentially big, nasty, strong storms. What I just played for you, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's rain, which is great, but it's not going to be substantial rain, if that makes any sense. So let's keep going because there are additional rain chances to be had. As we look our way toward Tuesday, especially into the afternoon and evening hours, there might be some storms that try to fire up. As you can see, this computer model is pulling a pretty big storm south of the DFW area and north of the Austin area Tuesday night. Well, let's see what it does. I'm going to go ahead and continue to advance through time. And by Wednesday morning, if you saw what I saw, it dissipates those storms to our north, and we see meh, 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 not a lot. All right, so now let's take a look at Wednesday. There are signs, I went too fast. There are signs that there may be another front that tries to move in on Wednesday, although I don't know if it'll actually make it all the way in here. But here's Wednesday afternoon, and there's Wednesday night, and then here's Wednesday at about 11 o'clock. So finally, we're seeing some yellows and oranges. Maybe Wednesday's the day that we get some enhancement of rainfall. This might actually be where Fredericksburg picks up on the heavy rain that we showed you earlier with the areas in the Western Hill Country seeing the heaviest of the rain. So interesting to note, this computer model fizzles everything east of I-35 and it's just generally light, but it kept that heavier rain and storm activity over the Western Hill Country. Also worth noting, into Oklahoma City and points north and east, nasty storms possible by Thursday. Let's keep on going just to see when do things change. Here we are, Thursday, May 5th, a week away, still waiting, and looks like Friday, it looks like maybe by Friday there may be a front that's trying to shift closer to us. So anyway, the bottom line is I have daily rain chances in your forecast. But don't hold your breath. There's not a lot of consistency between computer models. Totals have changed and not necessarily in a positive direction for us. So just know that, this is all outdated just because of the fact it's after midnight. This, however, is correct. This was from the Weather Prediction Center earlier, and it was not as ambitious on the rainfall totals as some of the other computer models have been, but it was showing in the areas that need it most, at least. Llano, Burnett, Blanco counties, maybe up to around 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain. You know, might be worth it. Danny Smith, hey, what's going on? So basically, I would just say continue to keep checking back. You know, things are not set in stone. There will be changes, and as we stand right now, I'm, not totally convinced that we won't get in on at least a heavy rainmaker or two along the way, but I am, at this point, a little underwhelmed by what I'm seeing for Central Texas proper. The heavier rain not looking quite as impressive, the rain chances very spotty. We may not have a good trigger, if you will, for storms. A trigger or a lifting mechanism is one of those ingredients you need for storms. So that might be a dry line, which will be to our west, or a cold front, which will be to our north, or an outflow boundary, or something like that. And we're basically just going to be sitting in the soup, as in the humid air, going, hi, how you doing? And at many times during this process, we will be in a relatively capped environment, where we talk about that lid on the atmosphere, where there might be a whole lot of instability, but it can't do anything because there is a warm layer of air aloft that's basically bottling up the instability. And the only way that instability can break the cap or explode is if it has a whole lot of lift, like one of those lifting mechanisms I talked about, or if it gets really, really hot and we can break through the cap basically just because, oh, sorry, didn't mean to bother you, Skippy. He was getting heavy, so I was shifting myself. So anyway, we'll see how things play out, but at least for now, I'm kind of like, well, we're watching it. I'm not necessarily overwhelmed by what I see, but at least some chance is better than no chance at all, wouldn't you say? All right, so I'm going to log off the work computer, and then I'll show you a couple more things just for kicks. And then I'm going to call it a night. Let's see, do I want to save changes? Yes, I'll save changes. Why not? We're saving all the changes. And that looks good. And now I've lost both of the boys. They both left me. Here, I'll show you where they are. There's the walker. He's on the floor. He's like, I'm over you. I'm just gonna hang out on the floor. There he is. So anyway, this is a look at the severe weather threats every single day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and honestly, there's probably going to be some severe thunderstorm threats Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's just this far out. They're a little bit too far out for much confidence. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. All right, I am officially off the work computer and be done. And there you go. And off we go. All right. So those of you on the CBS Austin page and on YouTube, let me go ahead and end the stream. Avery Tomasco will have your latest forecast updates in the morning starting 4:30 a.m. Those of you on the Chicago Windler Meteorologist page, if you have any questions, I'll stick around for just a little bit longer. All right, and have a great night. By the way, as always, you can check out cbsaustin.com/weather. Oh, yes, Skippy, I can help you up here. He's like, Mom, let me up. There you go, cbsaustin.com/weather for all your weather needs. Have a good one.